In this week's Signal Emitted, the first beta release, AI in Godot, HDR in Godot, and of course our Game of the Week and Tip of the Week. Welcome to Signal Emitted, your weekly news video for Godot related news. I'm Voylin, and don't mind the mess, I'm in the middle of moving right now. Anyway, the feature freeze has completely arrived now with the arrival of the first 4.7 beta release. Now, the list of features of this release is big. Luckily, the breaking changes list is not that big. So let's go over some of the new features for the 4.7 release. This release comes with await tweener, something which is quite nice, but wasn't mentioned in the Dev 2 blog post. This feature is a great addition to the already great tween system. There are now also collapsible groups in the animation track editor. Collider snapping in the 3D editor is now possible, and there is also vertex snapping. Copy-pasting sections from the inspector panel can now also be done. Monospace fonts are now used for displaying function and property names in the editor. The remote view no longer shows object ID, but the actual class names and icons. The asset store got updated visuals now as well, which is part of the move to the new Godot store system. Arrays are now displayed much nicer inside the inspector panel. We can finally select which export templates we want to download without having to download them all at once, which did take quite some time in certain cases. We can now also rotate, scale control nodes without affecting the rest of the control nodes inside of a container. And we also have a custom maximum size option now. For Android developers, there's now virtual joysticks and picture-in-picture mode. HDR output support is now also added, more on that later. Drawable textures is something you'll also be able to enjoy in the next version. Area light 3D nodes to create better looking scenes, shaded preview in the editor, and so much more. This was just like a quick overview of some of like the bigger major features. But yeah, anyway, there were also around 1265 fixes, so yay. And go ahead and try out the beta release to help Godot make this release even more stable by reporting the bugs you find. And of course, other things have happened and are happening right now, such as AI in the Godot source code. The Godot team has been faced with PRs written completely by AI, which often basically don't compile or work at all. These AI slop PRs are often not checked by the creator before submitting, causing a big time loss for the maintainers. This PR is here to make sure that PRs made with Claude at least follow the rules and warn the users, or like at least inform them that they have to accept the rules before like trying anything. However, this PR would only work with Claude, and I said would because it's not actually merged yet at all. And yeah, it would only work with Claude, but not with any other ones. However, the way that this PR works is also just by adding a file to the root of the project, which many people are against, including me. Like, just imagine the amount of clutter it would create to have a specific file for every single AI slop system, AI system thing. Maybe it's here as well. But anyway, AI, we're still learning how to deal with it and the slop that comes with it. So anyway, to slop or not to slop? That's the question. What do you think of the idea of AI stuff, generated stuff, being added to the Godot source code? Let me know in the comments below what you think of this. And let's jump to some better news. HDR in Godot. With 4.7 comes HDR output. HDR stands for high dynamic range, and explained in a simple way, it basically adds more details to darker areas and more details to brighter areas. Like bigger, well, basically a bigger range. Now, Godot already had some amount of HDR support, but with the HDR outputs, we actually get more detail in bright areas and have a more true HDR output. Ah, my kid wants to sit with me. And that's what happens if I'm home alone with these two. Anyway, right now there's support on Windows, macOS, iOS, Vision OS and Linux. But with a catch, because there's only Voylin support on Linux and no X11 support. And this is also only available on the Forward Plus and mobile renderers, which means that the web platform is once again left out and cannot benefit from this update. So X11 and web, we're in the same boat. And there are these example images on the difference between the non-HDR and HDR thing. But of course, watching that on a normal display, non-HDR display, does not show the full amount of quality differences. Plus, apparently there's also like, you need to have like a specific browser to watch it in, or like specific things in your browser to be able to watch HDR content in the first place. So yeah, this is a nice feature. but the limitations exist in multiple categories. So there's OS support, there's renderer support, and even hardware support, which are kind of limitations for a lot of developers. So yeah. And before going over to Game of the Week, I want to quickly show off this Reddit post from the user SebaDev, who made a great looking spaceship hover racing type of game in Godot. It's not an actual game yet, but it might turn into one, so let's see what's coming up in the future. And now for Game of the Week, I have a different than usual game for you, because this is actually an Android game. Alpine Lines is a mini metro inspired game in which you manage a ski resort with all the tracks and cable cars. If this game looks interesting, be certain to give it a try, as it's available for free in the Google Play Store. My kid is trying to hug the other kid, so they have to go. Bye bye. And bye bye. And it's already time for tip of the week. And I got a short one for this week, since my time is a little bit too limited right now. Like, I'm packing as we speak. So yeah. But have you ever worked with floats and got frustrated that floats aren't very precise, with one value being 1.5 that you want to check against, but the actual value that you're getting from your nodes is 1.4999999999, making your if statements not work? Well, there is this function you can use, is equals approx. In this function, you just pass two float values and voila, problem solved. It's a small little feature, but somehow I did not really know about it and I got into trouble because of it. So anyway, it's just a small tip, but especially helpful for new developers who aren't aware of the precision issues that can occur with float values. So yeah, if you have any other tips which you think should be mentioned in a future Signal Emitted episode, be certain to put them in the comments below. And I am moving very soon. But normally there should be a episodes next week. Like, I will try my best. Only issue is I don't have any internet, so it might be a day later if I cannot figure out how to upload it. Or maybe go to like the local supermarket where they have Wi-Fi. I don't know. I'll figure something out. I've been trying very hard to keep this a weekly show and to have an actual upload schedule, but I need your help. Which day is better for uploading these episodes on? I personally think Friday is better. The only issue is I live in Japan, time zone is slightly different, and Godot tends to release things like the beta release past the time that I would normally upload Signal Emitted. So yeah, which day would you prefer? The usual Friday, maybe Saturday or Sunday? Let me know in the comments below. There's also a poll going on in the community tab. But anyway, a big thank you to all my co-supporters. Thank you very much for your support. And subscribe, because this is a weekly series if you want to stay up to date. Thanks for watching, and I'll get back to packing. I want to give up already. Alright, bye bye.